This is Kevin Owens. You are listening to Wrestling the Rap Game, and I don't endorse anything that's said on this podcast. But
we in.
Yo. This is the Wrestling the Rap Game podcast, episode number 4. Is your boy DJ Dynasty, aka Pun, whichever you know me by. And of course,
your boy Young Vino here, Chris D, whichever you know me by,
And yeah, man, we got our very first guest. Man, we had like I said, before we started, we had to go to home base first. And there's no Wrestling the Rap Game without this guy for sure. Definitely for sure. Like I said, very first guest. Y'all don't even know how much this guy inspired me as a kid. You know what I mean? He was the truth. We got Highlight Music Group's #1 radio show from Highlight Music Group's #1 radio show, the warm up show. We got Jay Smoov.
Yeah. What's going on, man? How's everybody doing tonight?
Yo, we good, man. We good. How are things with you, man?
Nah, everything's good, man. Thank God, you know what I mean? No COVID, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Just working, you know what I'm saying? So that's all.
Gotta feel blessed for that, man.
Nah, definitely, man.
100%.
So that's all that matters.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm hyped for this one. I'm super hyped for this one, man, because
I'm with it,
man.
I
You
know
already know, man. You already know.
Yes,
We were
sir.
speaking about it a couple of days ago, so I already know what you guys want to talk about. So I'm all excited, man. I was looking at the notes, you know what I'm saying? We can talk about that though.
Bet. So obviously Wrestling the Rap Game. We usually start with wrestling.
All right.
So let's get into it. The wrestling tip. So let's obviously we grew up in the Attitude Era, arguably the greatest era in wrestling, arguably, preference, depending on preference.
Some people got their preference.
Yeah, you got the Hulk Hogan guys, and then
because I don't nobody knows really my age, right? So so I've been watching wrestling since like 1990. So that was right before the Attitude Era. So that's why I was like, let me just stop it real quick before, just to give some insight to it, yeah.
So let me rephrase it. I grew up with him around the Attitude Era. So yeah, man. As a kid, we used to be in my grandfather's room. As I was telling in the episode 1, we was in my grandpa's room with all our wrestling toys, watching all the stolen pay-per-views from this.
We had all the pay-per-views. We had all the wrestling toys. We had what else? Anything wrestling that was in the household, man. So shout out to our parents. Shout out to the whole family. Just letting us be a part of history. You know what I mean? So that was what's up.
Shout out to whoever cable pay-per-views.
Oh yeah. We appreciate them too.
Yeah, we appreciate you for all the free pay-per-views and all the free Raws and SmackDowns and yeah, man. Now, so as a kid, the Attitude Era, we used wrestling around grandma's house.
That's a given. If you didn't wrestle in the house, man, that was you wasn't living right.
Yeah, shout out to Howie for the power driver he took.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, when I say we really thought we was wrestlers, like we was going at it to the point where we had to like look at each other like, nah, that's not going down tonight. You know what I mean? Like, when somebody's gonna win. This one, you couldn't tell who's gonna win that fight. So it was all good.
They don't even know how many. They don't even know how many. The Rock versus Stone Cold matches they had.
Listen, to the point where there was matches that lasted the whole night. You know what I mean? We wasn't stopping.
Any of y'all ever get hurt doing it?
Please don't try this at home.
hurt, like injured, like go to the hospital hurt, or there was some
hurt period.
Oh, nah. I mean, there was some bumps, some bruises. You know, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was really about it. Yeah.
That pile driver.
My younger brother, he got a scar on his right, I think on his right eyebrow. I think I had DDT'd him on the bed on the bed or whatever, and then he caught the corner of the bed, but he was good though. He was good. He was a tough kid, so
yeah. That sounds like it hurts on the corner of that bed, man.
Yeah,
he had to be tough. He was stone cold.
Yeah, he was really bleeding too.
He was bleeding like Bret Hart in versus Bret Hart. But yeah, man. So about the Attitude Era, I already know the answer, but for the people, who's your guy in the Attitude Era?
To be honest, it kind of like switches up. So like for a time, it was Shawn Michaels. Then it was The Rock. Then you had that moment where it was, Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
That era was just different because they all had their moment, you know what I'm saying? And they shared their moment with each other. That was kind of dope to see as well, because as much as you see The Rock versus Stone Cold, but then there was like The Rock versus Triple H or whatever. Yeah. Like he always had his time, and then Triple H had his time. Everybody had their time, and that was kind of dope to see. Like when I first started watching wrestling, it kind of wasn't really like that. You know what I'm saying? It was always like
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan had his time, and then after he was kind of like a little washed, so he wasn't really into it like that, maybe injuries or whatever. Mm-hmm. Then you had like Macho Man, and then you had like, later on you got Ultimate Warrior, you know what I'm saying? Just different characters or different guys that had their time, but it like they didn't share there wasn't a lot of shared moments. Maybe like Hogan and who was it? Hogan and Macho Man for a little while. They shared a lot of together and stuff like that, rivalry matches and stuff. After that, you didn't really get that much. So
true. I had a question for you. In your opinion, what was the biggest and best faction of the Attitude Era?
And this is me not being biased, of course. I would probably say just overall, Vince McMahon, he changed the game. You know what I'm saying? He changed the game because it was, for a while, it was traditional wrestling, and then he turned it into like more entertaining and more, and I think this is an argument I had with my cousin like not too long ago too. But because of the Canadian screw job, that changed into the Attitude Era. Like Vince McMahon's attitude changed. Remember, he was the announcer for a little while, and for that time he was the owner, but he didn't show that he was the owner. You know what I'm saying? Like the crowd or the fans didn't know like Vince was the owner at that time. So I think around that time is where you can tell like, all right, this is gonna be something different. You know what I mean?
True.
I think he met. What's your favorite? What do you think is the best? Who's the best group in the Attitude Era?
Oh, best group?
Yeah.
I took that whole thing left. Then
you good.
Hey, we trying to get your insight.
Yeah.
Best group, I'd probably go with DX. That was one of my favorite groups. You couldn't tell me. We couldn't tell nobody sucking in class. Like we was out here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like to see Shawn Michaels be bad, but then he was actually like cool, you know what I'm saying? And, obviously Triple H's character, he was, it was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but then he turned into like Triple H, and he was just like on a tear. He was just killing it. So yeah, I'll go with them.
Okay, I can agree, man. DX has had a huge influence on generations of people and wrestlers now? Because you see a lot of these wrestlers are kind of ripoffs of DX, or they try to be.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, I
It
don't
just
think
it doesn't work. It doesn't work now because the wrestlers are a lot different.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got some that you think like, all right, cool. This person's stocky. He ain't doing no high flying. They really doing some high flying moves, and the
Mhm.
characters are just different. So you're not gonna see the bad boy group like that anymore. Sometimes almost every wrestler is the bad guy now, or vice versa. It has its turn. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the creativity lost itself in somewhere down the line because you started losing like the authenticity from like The Rock, Stone Cold. You don't got those characters like that no more. So
True speech.
Yeah, I just remember as a kid too, man. For some reason, well, not really for some reason, but we used to like the Nation of Domination too.
Oh, come! Everybody like the Nation. Well, I didn't say
I mean,
everybody,
hey,
but
man, you had to go. You had to go with the dark side sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, we knew what was up.
Yeah, but like I said, every group or everything like had their moment. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool to see after that situation that Farouk then went with like Farouk and Bradshaw. You know what I'm saying? And he had his thing, and then the Godfather. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I don't really know what happened to D'Lo Brown, but that's a that's a difference. Yeah, exactly. You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, right. So, but then The Rock was able to be who he is now. You know what I'm saying? And he became his own man, and he took off. And he doesn't have to wrestle a day in his life, but they'll still remember him as The Rock. That's his name forever. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, though.
He gets credit as The Rock, not even Dwayne Johnson. It's like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or just The Rock.
What? So it's dope just to see the evolution of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Word.
Yeah, so I know I would say maybe 2003 or maybe 2003 is where you kind of like faded out with the wrestling. What was the factor in you like wrestling or you growing out of wrestling?
I mean, I always had an idea that it was fake, but then I just started seeing too many things that didn't look official to me. Like it just wasn't working for me in a sense. And I was getting older. I was getting into like later stages of junior high, going into high school. Like that's not what the kids was like.
Yeah.
Teenagers was watching like that. I mean, you still had a group of like my classmates that, yo, you watched it last night. And it's like, but I think at that time too, I was working. I was working, you know what I'm saying? So like I didn't really care for wrestling after that. So
Yeah. I mean, at a point, it wasn't cool to watch wrestling anymore. And that stuck in a lot of people's minds when it got all childish and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, my opinion, 2003 was like that. Ruthless Aggression era was still pretty good.
I mean, I think, yeah, it was probably around that time, but I think what happened was some of the wrestlers that I wanted to see wasn't really wrestling like that. Like it wasn't consistently there. Like The Rock was doing movies. Stone Cold was in and out with injuries, and then sometimes he was in a movie or some sort. And then some of the wrestlers that I didn't mind watching, they became like the bosses of wrestling. So like Triple H, like he got himself to a point where he didn't really wrestle as much. He was conducting the whole thing. And it's cool, like, they can do their thing, but that's something that I grew up watching. I didn't want that to leave. And after that, like I just lost the love of watching wrestling type thing. Yeah, I didn't care for what was it, Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Kamala or something like that. Like, I watched Rey Mysterio beat Big Show. I think he's able to beat Kamala. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I think that Ruthless Aggression era, I feel like that's where a lot of the like technical wrestlers kind of like flourished. Like they finally came up because a lot of those like it became less about characters and more about what you were able to do in the ring. So like around that time, like 03 to like I would say like 06, 07, it became like, you know, the guys like Eddie Guerrero came up finally, you know, after he was like the Intercontinental Championship guy. When he leveled up to the WWE Championship, then like guys like Chris Benoit, he went from Intercontinental Champion to World Champion. Kurt Angle got, you know what I mean? He was he stayed as being the top guy after that point too. So I feel like it just became more about what you were able to do in the ring. And obviously we had guys that had characters who had better characters than they were in the ring, like John Cena. But you know, then you have freak of natures like Brock Lesnar too at that time too. So it's like,
yeah, like I mean, some of those like wrestlers like a Brock Lesnar, Batista, I felt like they was good wrestlers, but they weren't like, to me, they weren't like main attraction wrestlers. Like then somebody like they had to fight like somebody like The Rock or Triple H or somebody for me to want to watch that fight. If it was just them being the bigger star of the two wrestlers, I didn't really care for it.
I understand. I mean, some of those guys needed other like stars to carry them through the matches and stuff like that. So I understand definitely where you're coming from.
Yeah, somebody like Randy Orton, like in the beginning, he was like, like who the hell cares about this dude? But then he turned himself into a big wrestler. Like he like the legend killer or something like that. Like,
legend killer. What?
Like that. Like he created his own, or he let the fans create who he's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the other wrestlers, it's like, oh, I'm Brock Lesnar. Like I'm coming in, I'm gonna do my move on you, and that's it. There was no real wrestling behind him, basically.
Facts.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like it's if you I'm not calling it what it is now. Vino noticed I'm not calling it the new name, but even that new documentary on the WWE network, because that's what I'm still call it. They had Untold about Mick Foley and like an Edge, and in the documentary he was talking about how they weren't taking Randy Orton serious until he had the street fight with Mick Foley, and him having that street fight with Mick Foley took him to another level, because now he's just not the legend killer, and he's not like, you know what I mean, they looked at him as soft, and then he had that street fight with Mick Foley, and that's what his career, you know what I mean, went to the next level, and within 4 months he was the champion.
Yeah.
But any wrestler that puts his life on the line, like literally his life on the line, he makes the other wrestler look 10 times better, because he's allowing that person to demolish him. You know what I'm saying? And like think about it with the Hell in a Cell. He was really the one that created that kind of a match. And Undertaker really probably got more praise because he was the one that threw him off of the Hell in a Cell. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. Like, how many times did Mankind fight like The Rock or somebody like that? Rock all of a sudden builds up. You know what I'm saying? So
Triple H was saying the same thing about when he wrestled him at the Royal Rumble in 2000. They weren't taking Triple H serious as a champion, not until he had that street fight at Royal Rumble, and then the Hell in a Cell the month after against Mick Foley. He said those two matches took him, like, now, like, they took him serious as the champion.
But those kind of fights is what WWE needed. And if you think about it, they weren't having those kind of matches way back when. It's really until like some of the wrestlers from ECW came over, and then you started seeing like hardcore matches, and you got to look at it as a business. Well, the fans are really loving this kind of a match, and we don't really do it often. Let's try to include that into our package, and it just made WWE way stronger. But I feel like it took away from the actual tradition of wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, what we grew up kind of watching, basically.
Speaking of that, how are you feeling? Well, I don't know if you're still watching it now, but nowadays in WWE, they got match type specific pay-per-views. Like there's a whole pay-per-view for Hell in a Cell. They'll do like 3 Hell in a Cell matches or something like that. There's TLC, where it's all tables, ladders, and chairs matches. How do you feel about them doing specific like match type pay-per-views?
Well, I think me personally, I don't like it because I feel like you watered it down. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see. All I needed to see was that one Hell in a Cell match. Like this one shouldn't be better than the next one on the same night. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to have to get excited for one Hell in a Cell match and then try to get excited for the next one. You know what I'm saying? And like especially if it's right after the other one. Like I think that's kind of like corny in a sense. And to be honest with you, I think that was part of the marketing. Like they seen it run and then they ran it to the ground. To me, a lot of new viewers or new like fans, they might like that because they didn't grow up watching the original. You know what I'm saying? They're probably watching this and they're thinking like, whoa, this is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And if you haven't seen it from the very beginning, you won't ever understand why somebody like myself is like, nah, I'm good with it.
I agree with you. I mean, I remember one of the things I would get excited about on WrestleMania specifically was the Money in the Bank ladder match. But now they don't even have that match on WrestleMania. There's a pay-per-view for it. And then you had New Year's Revolution where you would have the Elimination Chamber matches. So you have like 2 Elimination Chamber matches. All the other matches are regular. Like, you know, you get those once a year and it's just like one match. So you look forward to that specific match and see what story they're going to tell in that one match. But now you got a bunch of watered down half-assed matches in one pay-per-view, you know, kind of ruining the stipulation. So I agree with you on that front.
I mean, I think about it like this, like, because you said something about the Money in the Bank match, right? And you like it has its own pay-per-view. Me personally, like, remember WrestleMania is only once a year. You know what I'm saying? And from what I can remember, I remember like an Iron Man match, and then I remember like it wasn't as big as the main event of being the Iron Man match, but there was way like just as big kind of matches before that match. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole night was a big event. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't think they have the star power to do that, so they have to kind of like put these kind of matches all in one. And that's what sucks about it, because like that match glorified that whole night. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a WrestleMania and all this stuff. Like, even the like you say like Money in the Bank right now. Like, I'm thinking of In Your House. I'm thinking of what's the other one? King of the Ring? Yeah, like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like pay-per-views, but in that form or whatever.
Yeah,
it was dope to see, but it's
I think that's why I think that's why they did those match type pay-per-views, because it worked with the King of the Ring, it worked with like the Royal Rumble. So they were like, oh well, it worked with these, so let's do this. You know what I mean? And it's
but then that, like I said, when you run it to the ground, you're only gonna get either the same quality that you put in is just gonna like die, like phase out, or you might find a gem in it. And I think that's what they was trying to do. But like I said, if you don't have the star power to complete a whole night of that, like it's just not gonna.
This is not gonna work. And I was gonna say the Royal Rumble and King of the Ring is just something different. Like the Royal Rumble match, I think if they put it right, they can just do that match as a pay-per-view, like just the match itself. And you know, that
long enough.
That'll be satisfying to the consumer. But you know, WWE has a lot of issues going on at the moment, and I don't know who's writing their stuff, but they need some new writers.
Yeah, but then that's one of the things that kind of messes things up, is because if you get a new writer, and that writer, or the person that conducts all that stuff together is not the same, doesn't have the same partnership with Vince, how does that work? Because Vince kind of like controls everything. Like we've seen it happen multiple times, like with different wrestlers. So whatever writer you have, if they don't do it the way Vince wants it, how does that look? You know what I'm saying? That person could be an awesome writer, but if the boss don't like it, it probably might not happen. So.
Well, Vince has done his share of experimenting, because at one point he had Freddie Prinze Jr. from I Know What You Did Last Summer writing on SmackDown.
Yeah, and look how that turned out. There is no SmackDown. Like,
no, there's no SmackDown.
But it's not like literally. Is there really like as big as it was before? I really don't think so.
I'd say I'd agree with that. I mean, well, I'd say it for Raw mostly because I'm just so disappointed with Raw now. You remember how you used to be so excited when you were like, it's Monday and Raw's coming on tonight at 9:00. Like the excitement you got, just Raw is War is coming on. Now,
I'm telling you, I used to be outside straight after school on the Monday, and then all of a sudden, I already knew once that sun was coming down, I'm running to the house, and I'm watching I'm watching Raw. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
trust me, I understand. It's just now it's just different. There's so many things for people to watch on TV now. There's TV shows, they're hooked on the Hulu, Netflix, all that stuff. Like some of the people that were wrestling fans for a long time, they've gotten to experience other things, man. And that's what happens when you get your wrestlers doing shows and movies. Now some of those diehard fans go to something else.
Yeah. And they got these guys doing a bunch of house shows, regular shows, all types of stuff. So these guys are fairly busy in their scheduling and stuff, man. So yeah, I think the product's gotten diluted.
It's so bad. Raw is so bad. It's terrible.
But do you guys think it's because of the era that we're in that they're forced to be so PG, or do you think it's created?
I think, to be honest with you, there's other wrestling shows I can watch. Like, isn't there like the AEW or something like that?
They're good.
What, TNA, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
You don't want to watch TNA.
but what I'm saying is there's other things to watch now.
Yeah, no, there is, yeah.
Even back then, you had the ECW, WCW, but that was on a different night sometimes. So like, I didn't really care to watch those other wrestlers or wrestling shows. But like now, AEW sounds pretty good to me. Like the way I've seen a couple commercials, I actually saw a couple of episodes, and I thought it was really, really good. But once again, if I'm not really in tune with watching wrestling like how I was, I probably would watch it a little bit more if I was more in tune. But I'm not. I distanced myself from that a long time ago. So yeah,
I understand. All right, so let's get into something that you're really in tune with, rap music.
Yeah, we can get into it.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, favorite all-time rapper.
If anybody,
Michael Carter Jr.
if anybody knows me, they'll know that I'm gonna pick Lil Wayne any given time. Like back then, Lil Wayne, now Lil Wayne, it doesn't even matter.
So you're still rocking with Wayne now too?
To this day.
To this day.
Cause I seen it from day one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Why is Wayne your favorite rapper?
I think I have a thing where I root for the underdog a lot. I always root for the person that has the passion
Okay.
It's steady, keep working to get where they need to be. And I kind of live my life like that. Like whenever people doubt me, I'm gonna try to figure it out, like why I'm not getting where I need to be and stuff like that, or accomplish certain things. And I've seen that with Wayne, and I've seen that with Kobe Bryant. So those are two of the like people I looked up to growing up. So yeah.
R.I.P. Kobe.
Word. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Word. Is Wayne top 5 in your opinion? Even though he's your favorite rapper, is Wayne top 5 in your opinion all time?
Me being biased, yes. Me not being biased, probably not.
Okay, probably not. Who's your top 5?
He's I'm gonna go with Hove, Nas, Big Pac, and I'm probably gonna throw in Jadakiss.
Jada as a sub.
It's a toss between Jadakiss and I would probably say DMX.
Okay, but that's a solid list of a top 5. I'm not mad at that at all. Fun. Who's in your top 5, bro?
I'm down. Can I call you by what I actually call you?
Who's that? Me?
Yeah.
You call me whatever you want.
I'm just saying. I want to be like, hey, Smoov.
No, you call me whatever.
So Josh, so you said you got Kiss as your 5 or DMX?
Yeah.
That's his. That was your sub or your 5th?
That's not me being biased for Wayne. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're biased, Wayne is number 1.
No, I didn't have it in like the order, but those were my top 5. Okay. We go like number wise, I would probably say Nas, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah, I respect Nas way too much to not put him number 1. I had Nas in that battle with Jay-Z a long time ago. So yeah.
Okay. Me too.
Yes, definitely. You got to. That was crazy.
Ether, listen, man. Ether is legendary. That's a legendary track.
It was a different time, man. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we don't get that authenticity anymore. Like rap, wrestling, however you want to look at it, it's not like back then. So
yeah. Yeah, nah, I feel you on that. My 5, I don't think I have anybody top 5. I don't think I have anybody from like today's rap in my 5. I don't think so.
That's surprising.
Yes, yeah, I know, because I really want to put Cole in, but
I had my friend tell me today, shout out to my bro David. He said Cole eventually will be top 5.
He will.
But you saying for right now you don't have anybody, but essentially he's a rapper from right now.
Yeah, I mean, I say he will, but I don't know, man. I got to think about this because
that's why. And I looked at it. I said, "Wait a minute," but then I had to sit down and think. J. Cole still got some time left.
Yeah,
he definitely can change things up and definitely put in that work to get to number 1 or to be in that conversation of top 5. But it's going to be really difficult. I'll tell you that.
It's hard because of who I think about when I think of my top 5. Like I think of Pac, I think of Cole, I think of Nas, I think of Big. Like that's a 4 right there. That's like, I need to put those 4.
That 5th one is tough. That's what I'm saying.
The 5th one is really the tough one, and and there's a lot of people I want to put in there. That spot. I think of Big Pun.
And respectfully, they all deserve that 5th.
Yeah,
that's the hard thing about having a top 5 or whatever, is at some point in time you're gonna have to make a tough decision for yourself. Not even judging the next person's top 5, it's just you thinking like, oh my God, like, did I forget this person? Oh my God, I did forget this person. Like, it's hard, man.
I mean, most people's top 5s have those 4 people, which is Pac, Big, Hove, Nas. That's most people's 4 out of the 5. And there's always that 5th, and there's just a lot of people that want to put in that 5th. You got You know, like I said, we got Big Pun that I think about. I think of Andre 3000. I think of 50 Cent.
Mhm.
Um,
I feel like a lot of artists have, once again, and this is going back into like the wrestling, a lot of great rappers had a moment, but I don't think they have the longevity. And you can, if you go solely based off of longevity, then you can take Pac and Big out. Because
Yeah.
unfortunately, because of
Unfortunately, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And then you can throw whoever you want. But then again, like those are two greats and those are two legends. You know what I'm saying? You can't just take them out because of longevity. So that's why I said, depending on how you view your top five is what makes it different.
My problem with it too is that I don't feel comfortable putting Cole in there and not putting Pac and Nas, because if it wasn't for Pac and Nas, there is no J. Cole. He stated himself, those are his two inspirations. And as an Eminem, that's another one. 5 could be Eminem.
Could be a top 5, yep.
Yeah, that is true.
DMX.
X, yeah. So speaking of in terms of longevity, doesn't Drake deserve a spot? The boy been on top of the game for a long time.
Well, he just got Artist of the Decade, so shout out to Drake.
He's been on top of the game for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, because you say top 5 rapper, and I don't really consider him a rapper. I consider him an artist.
Okay.
So, if you said top 5 artists, then I'd definitely put Drake probably number 1, number 2, right? So it all depends on how you look at it. Now, if you go by solely off the rapper, maybe top 15, definitely top 10, depending on how you view your however you dissect that. But I think Drake's situation is a little different, because he's had moments where you can tell like he's gotten a push from certain people.
Yeah.
A lot of these artists that we're naming, they got it from the mud. They had to figure it out early in the rap game. This is Drake with all the needs that he needs. Like, he had the machine behind him. Jay-Z didn't have the machine behind him. Jay-Z created the machine. You know what I'm saying? So, when you have legends that create these things, it makes it easier for somebody like a Wayne or somebody like a Drake. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not Wayne so much, but definitely Drake. So.
Understood. And if we talk in longevity, I think Wayne deserves a spot in the top 10 somewhere as well, because he was on top for a long time too. I didn't see a fall off ever coming. I mean, can we really even say he fell off, really? I mean, he's just different.
Yeah, I mean, what's falling off to you though?
That's a good question too.
He's still selling albums.
Yeah, he's still selling records.
Some people just fall out of love with the game, man. Like, some people have legal issues that they can't speak of. Some people, you know what I mean? It's just so many different things. So like when people be like, yo, Wayne fell off, I'm like, he's expressed already. He's made like 2 mixtapes saying that he's in a situation that he can't get out of. Like, that's why he's making mixtapes, because he can't make albums, guys. Like, if he really wanted to, he can't. He stated that. You know what I'm saying? So every artist has their own situation, and whether people like it or not, it's like, hey, I don't really, as an artist, I don't really have to make music for you. You know what I'm saying? But I do it because it's something that I enjoy doing. And as an artist, I hope that you would appreciate it. And if you don't, then I'll just find somebody else that enjoys my music. Like, it doesn't have to be for you. So
big facts.
Yeah, I even feel like with Wayne, I feel like Wayne, he's at a stage in his career that he's like, bro, like, what do y'all want me to do? Like, I have nothing left to prove. I've done everything. I got Grammys. I've sold albums. Like, you know what I mean? And he 1.5 first week for the Carter 3.
Yeah.
Like, I've done everything.
The thing about Wayne is funny because like there was a track, I think it was on Carter 2. He said at the end of the track, best rapper alive.
Yeah.
and people was like, whoa, this dude is bugging. This is the time where Jay-Z is on top of his game. Eminem is like teetering on top of the game just with Jay. And they like, and he said, I'm the best rapper alive since the best rapper retired. And both artists said they was, Eminem and Jay-Z said they was retiring. So it's just interesting when people was just like, yo, he's bugging. And then probably like 2-3 years later, everybody was saying, yo, he's one of the best rappers alive. And when you see stuff like that happen, it's just like, you gotta respect it now. Like if you don't respect it from this day on, like you just either not a fan of him or just not a fan of the artistry. So
yeah. Now I remember when that was going on, and him and Jay were kind of bickering, I would say.
Yeah, they had a squabble.
Yeah, I remember when that was going on. It was good for the game, though. I mean, watching those legends kind of spar a little bit.
And that's what it's about, man. It's competitive nature. If you don't, and that's what the game lacks now, is everybody's a little too buddy, and then they realize that they're not really friends. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing business moves, and it's not like competitive anymore. Like certain artists, they can't do certain songs with certain people. Like that's kind of corny, man. Or they can't make a diss or like a reference track because automatically it's a problem. Like, nah, when was it ever a problem back in the day? Like, as long as no bloodshed happens, like, should be good.
Yeah. There isn't that competitive sparring anymore, like you said. I mean, a lot of rappers are very sensitive about everything, about their craft. And if you tell them that they, you know, like, your shit is garbage, like, niggas is like, oh, well, I'm gonna go kill myself then. You know, like,
yeah, like,
shit like that is going on now, man. So it's different.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, you talking about today's era, who do you go to? Who's your go-to in today's era of rap?
After like to be honest with you, after like the Young Money era and all that stuff, I barely like listen to rap, like the hard rap. I'll get a glimpse of it here and there, and I have some artists that I like I could listen to a Little Durk, I could listen to a Lil Baby, Future, Lil Uzi here and there. But after that, it's kind of slow. I just started like downloading a lot of the Moneybagg Yo just to get in tune. I like all his new stuff, but I just didn't know like his music from back then. So just trying to catch up with that. And that's, to be honest, that's about it. Like some artists are there and then they're not there. And that's what I mean about the game now. It's not as consistent, or it's not as thorough as it was back then.
Well, what's your opinion on Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick Lamar is dope. I didn't learn about him really until Good Kid, Mad City, to be honest with you. I was still in like I said, I was still in the Young Money, Cash Money phase. So I wasn't really listening. I didn't care about the underground artists like that anymore. And after good, whatever his album's called, whatever.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah. After that, like, I didn't stop listening to him. I just didn't relate to the music that he was putting out. So like, like, he's cool and all. Like, he's dope. He's a dope artist. Like, he can rap. He can really rap. But that's just not my style of rap. So.
Okay. What do you feel about like mumble rappers like the Migos and Blueface and all those guys? What's your opinion on them?
I don't like Blueface. Like, but Migos is cool. I can listen to like Cultures 2 is like one of my favorite albums from them. Quavo to me is one of the best out of the Migos, but as a group, I feel like Takeoff is pretty dope too. He has his moments, and Offset as well. I just feel like sometimes they should do a little bit more solo, because I want to hear some Offset by himself
Yeah.
sometime. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think-
Like, he has good features, and he can actually make songs too. So I just be confused sometimes as to why he doesn't. So
Yeah, no, I think out of the three of them, when they dropped them solo project, I think Offset had the best solo album out of all of them. I feel like Quavo's was predictable and
yeah, I mean, because Quavo's more of like the popish kind of, or like,
Yeah.
you know, he's going straight for hits. He's not trying to go deep with his music or anything like that.
Which is crazy because Offset had the bigger hits from his album. You know, he had the song with Cardi. Well, I can't think of the song because I'm so upset because that song is hard. But he has a song with Cardi that was the super hit.
Wasn't it Clout?
Yeah, Clout.
Yeah.
Oh, do it.
He
Oh,
had
yeah,
that one, and he had the Red Room.
Yeah, that was a good album. I just think, like I said, is if you're not the main guy, the label, I feel, won't push you.
Yeah.
And he's not Quavo, to be honest. Like, he's not gonna give you hit after hit after hit after hit. It's just not gonna happen with Offset. So he can hit hits. It's just you're gonna have to give him like a lot of features, and sometimes that doesn't go so well.
I'm biased, but you know, Offset's the one that got the Cole feature too. You know, he got Cole out the, he got Cole out the crib to you know what I mean, and got the Cole feature.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, J. Cole has always done that though.
Nah.
Like, he's always been that guy to he'll pop up. He doesn't do it all the time, but he'll pop up. Like, you'll see him on a 21 Savage song in here and there. Like,
that's when he was going through his feature era. He was doing with everybody. He was at that time. He had a song with Moneybag.
He had to get put on. The only thing is, J. Cole just don't put features on his album, and that's the smart way to go. If you really like dedicated to your creation, like, or to your art, you don't want other people to be a part of that. Sometimes you want to be the one to say, hey, this is what I was like really thinking. Nobody should really have my thoughts when I'm trying to create this. So
did y'all catch the documentary he released for the Fall Off? Or the my bad.
I think I almost finished it. It was really good. I'm excited to see what he does on this project. To be honest with you, every album just sounds different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just want to see how this one sounds. And I think that's what's dope about artists like J. Cole. Like, they can switch it up here and there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm gonna get from this album, and that's what I like that's what I want to feel when having an anticipated album. So
yes, sir.
He had me hyped today with that freestyle.
Oh yeah, that freestyle. It was lit. It was lit.
Bodied.
Do you anticipate this being his best work? I've seen a lot of his peers saying that this is going to be his best work. Do you guys anticipate this is his best work?
I mean, I would hope so. I mean, I don't know what yes, this possibly can be his best work, right? Somebody like Wayne, he feels like anything he drops is his best work. So who am I to tell J. Cole, yo, your last album wasn't your best album? Like, if he felt that way, then that's his best album. Like, I like Forest Hill Drive, Born Sinner. Where do I rate some of his albums? That's a little difficult for me because I like them for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully he gets to that point where this will be his classic album, and he can just, seems like he doesn't really care about the music as much because about to go play ball in Africa or something like that.
Yo, that's that another thing I was gonna get to about that. Like, he's gonna go play ball in Africa. He has his family. He has Puma hoops, all types of stuff that he's focusing on. You know, how much time has really been put into this album? How has he been working on this album the past 3-4 years since the last one?
KOD, I think, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he in between he's made music, so it's not like this is something like he hasn't done in a long time.
Yeah.
He's made songs. It's just a matter of his own project, and yeah, we haven't really heard like an actual album from him from a little while, but he's still active. I think. I just think he's not as active as we want him to be.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks about this day and age is like an album, a good or decent album comes out every Friday, because artists are making so much music now, like so fast, that you're like, all right, we're still waiting for Drake, and he was supposed to come out in January. Like,
yeah. When was his last album? When was Scorpion? 2018?
2018.
Yeah.
Wow. To be honest,
we was fiending for this album until it didn't come out. Like, now I don't really care if it comes out or not. Like,
yeah.
So
Especially not right now, because it comes out Friday.
Yeah, Cold World.
The off season.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised that he drops this Friday. He drops with Cole.
He don't want that smoke.
Listen.
It'll be fun.
All I'm gonna say is this, right? Drake doesn't lose anything. He doesn't lose. No, what I'm trying to say is, even if he lost to J. Cole, he's not gonna lose. Like, he's already established. Like, he's gonna be that artist that's just, he's gonna make his numbers, especially if it's a surprise drop. Come on, man. Any artist that's big as Drake, a Rihanna, a Jay-Z, a Beyonce, when they just drop like randomly, that album goes off. That's probably one of their best albums at that time. So
that's true. And then Drake got the merch to go with it. Like, I remember when he dropped the Certified Lover Boy merch, I thought the album was coming out like in 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, doesn't really matter for Drake at this point. J. Cole, he has to do stuff like this stuff. You know what I'm saying? He has to drop a single a week before. He has to come up with a documentary. Nobody's really seen him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Drake is still active. He's still here and there. Like, even if he's not on social media, he's on TV, he's doing something. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that's what I think, that's the curse of Drake, because I feel like with Drake, he doesn't. We were talking about it episode 3. I was like, Drake doesn't give you the opportunity to miss him, to want new music. You know what I mean? Like, people like Cole and Kendrick, we leaning for those albums because we haven't, like you said, we haven't heard from them or seen from them, especially Kendrick. Kendrick hasn't really dropped anything since the Black Panther album, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But other than that, we haven't really seen or heard from Kendrick. You know what I mean? There was hype to see Kendrick at a protest for Black Lives Matter just because, oh my God, Kendrick is outside his house. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like with Drake, he saturated himself to the point that if he did decide to drop the same day as Cole, he wouldn't be the first person you listen to. I mean, for most people, anyways, they're gonna lean into.
They're gonna go into the rap, and then because they already know what they're gonna get from Drake, and that's. Yeah. But from what and this is just what I've heard, that this album is straight rap. Like, the whole title, Certified Lover Boy, is like to throw you off type of thing. Okay. That's what I heard.
Screen. A smoke screen, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is true and he goes straight crazy on all these like rap kind of songs that we, love from Drake so much, I think that can possibly be something where it's in the discussion who had the better album. And I think Drake is playing that to his advantage right now. All right, you think J. Cole's gonna kill it right now, but you forgot I'm dropping too.
Yeah. And
like I said, if he does it and it works in his favor, what can you really say now? Like, do you still not call him the GOAT? Like,
I mean, I personally, I'm a fan of both sides of Drake, rap and artists singing side, because I feel like you need a little bit of both to, keep the thing going, to switch it up, to evolve. In my opinion, that's how I feel about it. Like Drake can do that. Not every artist can do that, but I think Drake can do that specifically.
I think the next artist that can do something like that is Future.
Whew. Oh man, we can get into a very long talk about Future and his decline, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if the right word is decline. I think he's playing around with what's going on. Future can drop an album and may not get a bigger buzz than a compilation album that he has with a Lil Uzi Vert or Young Thug. So he's, like I said, he's just one of those artists that likes to play around with the sound. And once he finds that sound, then you can tell like he gravitates to it and does what he wants to do with it. So
I'm tired of Future playing with my intelligence, bro. I'm tired of him not even using words. Like he's been dropping mad songs that he's just doing sound effects. He's not rapping. Like that song that he has with Lil Yachty, he literally whistled almost his whole verse. Like,
you know what it is? Like, does he really have to rap?
Which is sad because it's like, yo, Future's be like, yo, what sound effect should I do for this one? They still gonna listen, you know what I mean? Like,
he's just so melodic and it gravitates, bro. Like a lot of people just get sucked in with the whole melodic and the beats are crazy. Like it's hard to like not have to hear him. He's on the radio almost 24/7. So
that's true. That's true. Agreed. Well, gentlemen, we've been at this for quite some time right now.
Yes.
Smoov, I appreciate you, man, coming out. Thank you so much for being the very first guest on Wrestling the Rap Game podcast. This has been fun. I've been glad to get your insights on everything.
Appreciate you guys, man. And I wish you guys the best of luck. I know this isn't an easy thing, having a conversation with just random people. I've started doing this a year ago, so I know how that goes. And like I said, man, I wish you guys the best of luck and keep doing y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Give them your socials.
J Smoov, so J_SMOOV _88. So you can catch me on at the warm up show or Highlight Music Group on IG.
Yes, sir. Every Thursday, 7 to 10 p.m., right?
Yes.
Yeah. The Highlight Music Group app. Download that HMG app. Warm up show. DJ Deeniro, J Smoov. Check them out.
Shout out to DJ Deeniro, man.
Yes, sir.
We're in there tomorrow night, so if y'all want to tap in, man, just hit us up. We got you.
Oh, you know what? We can spare a few more minutes, man. Tell us about the warm-up show, man. Tell us about the warm-up show. Tell us about what you do. Actually, we can spare a few minutes.
I'm basically a host on the show. My guy DJ Deeniro. It's kind of like if you're listening to the radio, basically. It's a radio app. It's basically each night you have different DJs. They have their own set. They play from the latest of the music. Hold on. Hello?
Yeah, we're there.
They'll play the latest. They'll play some old school music, depending on what their night is looking like. Our show is dedicated to throwbacks. We basically start our throwback hour at 9 p.m. and we played nothing but the good joints from early 2000, 90s. Sometimes we go into the 80s with it. You know what I mean? And it can go into hip hop, R&B. We play a little bit of reggaeton. We play some merengue, salsa, whatever you guys want to hear. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope. It's dope, man. Just tune in, and we got something special for you guys, man. Definitely.
Word. I appreciate that. And I'm sure the fans appreciate that plug. Yes, sir.
You're right.
Y'all make sure y'all go download this. All right. Listen, man, we had 1,000 viewers for episode 1. So I want to see 1,000 people on the HMG app.
Yes, sir.
Word.
Yeah.
And shout out to you guys. That's first episode, second episode. That's great. You know what I mean? So keep doing your thing, man.
We appreciate it.
Word.
Thank you.
You already.
All right. This has been Wrestling the Rap Game. Fans, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, do all of that. Just show everyone some love. Takes nothing, man. It takes nothing. And once again, we really appreciate y'all. Thank you.
You already.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Out.